Hey folks, and welcome to Shadowlands. Today we're going to do a quick overview of two different builds as we're jumping into pre-patch with Holy Paladin. Now Holy's seen a lot of change as we kind of transitioned from the Azurite dominated Glimmer build. We've actually seen a lot of additions to our kit, which is actually a lot of fun. There'll be some adjustments here, and it's actually going to be a little bit of learning what you want to incorporate in your kit, what you have to adjust now that we've got some limitations in terms of our AoE heals. But overall, I think this is going to continue to be a pretty fun stretch here, and you should continue to see Holy Pal certainly in raiding, but also being pretty viable in Mythic dungeons as well. So just to do a quick overview of the talents, Tier 1, as far as the raid build goes, go with Crusader's Might. Tier 2, Holy Prism is a easy go-to, although I'm sure we'll see this continue to change because honestly Saved by the Light or Judgment of Light are all pretty viable talents. It just probably depends on where you're at with respect to your secondary stats. In particular, as you see higher levels of haste, you'll start to lose a little bit of value with Judgment of the Light. So keep that in mind. Additionally, you'll be trying to balance your mana consumption, so Judgment of the Light may start to get more favorable from that perspective as well, because it's certainly cheaper from a mana perspective. Kind of continuing on, that third tier, that's really up to you. I'm almost always biased to Fist of Justice just to be able to get my kickback as soon as possible, but Blinding Light has a little bit of utility as well, as it's kind of one of the rare AoE disorients that are out there. Tier 4 Rule of Law is kind of the go-to. It's just essentially giving you that increased range, makes a pretty substantial difference in terms of different raid orientations that are out there in Ny'alotha. Tier 5, Holy Avenger is the go-to. My preference for it is because it actually gives us a little bit more of a cooldown based build and lets us hit. If you're a little less familiar with Holy, you can go with Divine Purpose and kind of go with a little bit more of a passive approach where you've got one less cooldown you need to manage. Finally, Tier 6, Sanctified Wrath is the go-to. Just having that extension of your wings by 25% makes a huge difference on your Avenging Wrath heals per second. And finally, level 50. The recommendation in Raid is to go with Glimmer of Light. Not exactly the same as the previous Glimmer build that we've seen in BFA. On some encounters, you'll actually see a credible argument here for Beacon of Faith. That's kind of been our go-to now for several expansions. But alternatively, if your tanks aren't taking a massive amount of damage, or you only have one tank active, Glimmer of Light is absolutely the way to go. Now, looking forward a little bit over to Mythic Plus dungeons, there's a few other builds that you may want to consider. Again, Crusader's Might is the go-to on Tier 1. Tier 2, you've got a few more arguments here. Again, it really just comes down to what's your mana consumption going to be. Kicking off in the pre-patch here, Holy Prism is the recommendation. Blinding Light is my preference once you're into Mythic Plus dungeons, just due to how close Holy is. Typically to melee, it can make a solid little improvement, helping just to bring that extra utility there. Unbreakable Spirit, the cooldown on Bubble is absolutely fantastic. Additionally, having a little more Divine Protection and improved cooldown on your Lay on Hands by 30% is a great way to go. Holy Avenger, again, is your preferred cooldown on Tier 5. Tier 6, Sanctified Wrath, and then finally, Tier 7 is probably the only place where you'll see an argument. Beacon of Faith is probably our go-to on that front, and that actually will complement the amount of damage and the amount of heals that that we're actually able to take care of there. Rule of law, you can probably toss that, like we mentioned. You're so close from a range perspective with the melee or even your range DPS in your group. Drop that over to your Unbreakable Spirit. So that's our Mythic Plus build. Yeah, drop it down in the comments. Let me know what you like, what questions you have about the differences from BFA, or if you have any questions about the new abilities or auras that we picked up. The kit for Holy is definitely pretty meaty, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fair bit of fun to play through. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Drop it down in the comments. Let me know what you like. Let me know what I missed on or what I should be doing a little bit more of in the future. Thanks for watching. See ya.